All right, we're going to cover off some of the last remaining features of the main collaboration tools. All right, starting here on the left. So you're going to have a button here called Revert, which we've already used before. It's basically just goes back to the very original display of your data or the original view that you had. Okay, now this is not to be confused with refresh. Refresh is something a little bit different. So if you remember, we have data sources that are connected to this dashboard. Now, for now, we've embedded them, right? But let's say we didn't. Let's say we had them separate, okay? And we will be covering this once we do what's called Tableau Bridge and automation and all that stuff. So let's say this is my dashboard. All right, and this is my, let's call it let's call it R, my raw data or my published data. When I refresh just the data set, not the dashboard, okay, it takes time for the dashboard to refresh with the latest data set. All right, so let me repeat that. So we have a raw data set available on the cloud. The dashboard is connected to that raw data set. If I go to Tableau and I go publish data source, right, it will only refresh this data source. Okay, it won't update the dashboard. The dashboard is still connected to the old data set. Now, the Tableau Online, the way it works is you're kind of part of a queue. Because Tableau Online is, kind of not public, it's private, it's your own one, no one can access it. But you're all sharing the same server, so you can have like hundreds of companies using the same server. So the servers have to work. They can't just update everyone's instantaneously. There's a bit of a queue. So I believe the wait is around 15 minutes for that to update. Or you can force the update to happen. If you already know that the data is being refreshed, just click on this refresh button and it will do it. Okay, and that's basically what the refresh does. You can also prevent this automatic 15 minutes or automatic refresh from happening simply by clicking this, which pauses the actual refresh. Let's say you don't want it to take effect straight away. You want everyone to kind of see the data set beforehand or whatever it might be. Okay, so that's what that button does. The next one is data details. This is a lot more minor now. Basically gives you information about the dashboard. This is relatively new, this button. What it is, who made it, when it was modified, what data sets it's connected to, right, and what fields you're using for the actual design. So relatively simple. The rest of this we've already covered, except download. So if I go download, there's a few things I can actually do. I can download this as a picture, right, as an image and just use it straight away, which I know a lot of people do because let's say in my team, someone's about to do a presentation on PowerPoint or somewhere else. They don't want to have to log in. They can just take a picture, right, copy paste it straight into their document. You can do data, which actually downloads the underlying data. Again, this is all permission based. If you don't let anyone, if you turn off these permissions, these will just be grayed out. Okay, the next one is a cross-tab. So instead of it being as a raw data set, it could be in the cross-tab view, depending on the data set. PDF is, I guess, very similar to image. It just downloads it as a report. The difference in PDF and image, I believe, is if I go PDF, it's the way it downloads. So I can go specific sheets, in which case I can select them, right, or deselect them. Specific sheets from this workbook, right? I can do it at a higher level, select all. With the scaling, right, I usually set it on automatic to fit the paper. So I go for the paper, let's say A3 in landscape, and I go create PDF, right? It'll do its thing. All right, I have a PDF like that. And if I open it up, it's pretty much set to what you need it to. Now, I haven't done the scaling correctly because I haven't really worried about that. But if you are worried about people doing PDFs very often, just because we don't do it very much anymore because everyone just views it online, the ratio I usually go with is 2 to 3. Yeah, a ratio of 2 to 3. So if you go to your Tableau desktop, right, and you go to a dashboard, you set this ratio to be 2 to 3. This is roughly 2 to 1, right? So if I set it to like 1800 by 600, it looks a lot better on PDFs and all that if you need it, right? What else? Oh, sorry, not 2 to 1, 2 to 3. So this will be like if it was 1200, it would be 800 on this one, right? Which will give you a much better ratio Okay. All right. So that's your PDF. Let's go back to the other one. Let's get rid of share for a second. All right. Let's go download again. So I can go PowerPoint, get it as a PowerPoint file, and finally workbook. This is the one I probably use the most. So let's say someone's published something or I've made heaps of web editing changes, right? I can download the entire workbook with all those changes. Okay. Select which version I got, which I think I'm currently using 0.3. 0.3 or 0.2, I can't remember what I'm using. Download, and it'll give me the file and I can open it straight up. Once you start doing web editing, this is a practice that you should do. Whenever you're going to make a modification to a dashboard, download it from here, because what could happen is this particular dashboard I have exists locally. It could be on my C drive, it could be on my desktop, could be on my company share drive or something like that. And it may not be the most up-to-date version I have anymore. So a general rule of practice is whenever you're modifying something from a dashboard online, download it first. Then you're guaranteed to always have the latest. Okay, so you download that, you open it up as usual, and you make your changes. Then if you're going to update it, you just publish again, replace the old one, and you're kind of good to go. All right. That is pretty much it, except for these two on my list. So let's start with this one. If you click here, it basically tells you what data sources you have in this dashboard. So nothing crazy complicated. The last one lets you view these dashboards in mobile view to kind of see what it's going to look like, right? So if I click on this button, it can tell me what it's going to look like on desktop, which I already know. I can click on tablet. Now, if you haven't set up your tablet and your phone views, it may not come out exactly as you intended, right? All right, so let's say with this, so this ratio hasn't been optimized for tablet, okay? So let's say with phone, again, not completely optimized. So I can introduce that. So I can go into here, right? And there is a section on how to do this. I can add in all my different views, right? So I think this congestion mob already had one. So tablet view, it has phone view, it has, so you can add this in. So if we come in here and we go to congestion and mob, you see this one's done a lot better. The other one I didn't do. So you can see that it's a lot clearer. Tablet, again, it's set up a lot better. So that's what that button does, just to make sure that you have the best kind of user experience when other people are using mobile. And I think that's it. We'll leave it there and then we will cover some more stuff. All right. See you soon.